John Koskinen was confirmed by the U.S. Senate to head the Internal Revenue Service Commissioner.
Well, there you go. Somebody
So
was stupid enough to take the title.
Letter to.
That's got to be the most dreaded title. I would not want to have that title unless the guy just likes punishment, man.
So that's who I'm going to send the certified letter to.
Certified? Yeah, certified's cheap, $2. Yeah, that's fine. I'd send him a $2 letter.
And again, just keep it simple. Write it to like I'm writing to my grandma. Just no fancy words, no nothing. Just hey.
Thanks, Manchi. No, just say, look, I tried. I'm having an issue with your agency. Back in 2009, they said what I was doing was frivolous. I tried to explain to them. I'm a very simple man. I do not understand how, what this frivolous means. Can you please explain it to me? And nobody did. And now, they're taking my money from me, my property. They're taking my property. They're taking what's rightfully mine from me. And I wish your agency to stop because it's causing me injury. It's causing me, it's causing me harm or injury or loss, or all three of them. It's actually damaging, my life. It's actually causing harm and injury to in my life. Something simple like that.
Okay.
And say, if you don't mind, can you look into it for me? And if you're a very busy man, which I'm sure you are, can you send me to the appropriate agent? Can you assign somebody in my case? Or can you assign somebody, to this matter? Not my case, because they don't have a case yet. Just say, can you assign somebody to see into this matter? Just something really sweet and nice, man.
Okay. So at this point, don't even think. I'm not even gonna.
It's really gonna mess with their minds when you're so freaking nice.
Okay.
They're gonna put take your letter, put it on. They're gonna take your letter, stick it above the water cooler. Say, look at this guy. Look at this lovely effing letter. I got people's letters like that thumbtacked on my walls in my house.
Okay.
Some man that died not too long ago, Yoma died, and he was the guy we were working with through the IRS, and he just had a stroke and died on us in July. And he wrote me a hell of a letter before he died. He didn't know he was going to die. I didn't know he was going to die. But he said it was, he enjoyed meeting up with me and Gus and them in Tennessee, and he said he's looking forward to working with us and solving this IRS dilemma that he got himself into years ago. And he says, God willing, hopefully we'll all meet up again real soon. And I talked to his wife about it because he donated some money, and I said, I don't want his money. And she said, he wants you to have it. I said, I still got the check. I didn't cash it. I said, it just doesn't feel right. She says, no, I'll take it. He really loved talking to you guys, and he used to talk about you guys all the time. He was really glad that you came down and you met him. And I said, man, it's amazing, man. I said, yeah, God, we will meet again, hopefully, on the other side somewhere. But I said it's amazing that he was in such good health. And, like I said, the stupid IRS stuff, man, really stresses the crap out of people.
It does.
And it's unbelievable what a piece of paper, the impact it can have over somebody. And like I said, I wanted to get Jonathan on a show tonight, and I don't think Jonathan's on, but I'll check. And he said that it worked out great for some man in Canada because the man just walked in to court and basically said, for a foreclosure, just said, I'm a man and I'm here to pay any debt. If any man comes forth with a debt and he's willing to verify that it's true, I'll pay whatever debt that any man lays before this court today. So they said, like, the attorney for the bank was like, well, it's right here. I got the paperwork right here. And the guy just said to the judge, I think it was the lady, he said, if any man is willing to take that witness stand today and verify that there's a debt and that debt is true, I'll pay any man who comes forth to this day, takes the stand and verifies that it's true. And an attorney kept saying, it's right here. I got it right here. I got the paperwork right here. And he said after a while, the attorney for the other side was like doing jumping jacks, trying to get him to notice that he had the paperwork right here, and he was reading all the paperwork out. And the guy just kept saying, if some man is willing to take that stand and swear that it's true, that there's a debt that is due, I will pay it. He says, if no man's coming forth, it was like the third time he said it, I wish for this case to be, dismissed until the man appears. And the judge dismissed it. It's that simple.
Wow.
There's nothing to this.
It's just like you said, just learning to be a man.
Yeah, and calling out another man. If you're a man, you know how to stand up and fight like a man, and you know how to call out another man and throw the glove down and say, you want to dance? Let's dance.
Okay. Carl, that last thing I wanted to run by you. It's kind of a different subject, real quick. It was a traffic case I went to.
Yes, let me say this before, because Bali, I don't know if Bali's still listening, but somebody asked me that the other day. They said to me, what dictionary did you use? And some guy said to me that he was using Black's Law. I said, oh, that's ridiculous. That's the old French. It's the Code Noir, the Black's Law. I said it basically explained how French colonists were supposed to treat their slaves that they brought over to the New World. And when you had a slave in the New World, it was funny, the slaves actually had a lot more social services provided for them than, say, a normal white man or pilgrim, whatever, who jumped off the boat, got on a boat in England, wherever, and landed here. He had no social security net. He had nobody who was held liable for his survival. But the slaves, the Code Noir, basically was the Civil Rights Act of, I think it was 1860, was it 1865 or 1860? There's a Civil Rights Act of 1865, 1867, and then the other one everybody knows, 1965 Civil Rights Act. But the Code Noir was like 1703. That was the code that they had to use for their French colonists if they wanted to own slaves. They had to provide their slaves with food every day, shelter, clothing, medical, dental, retirement, housing. They had to provide, just because the slave broke his leg, they couldn't take him out in the field and put a bullet in his head. Just because the slave got old, they couldn't just throw him out a cliff into the ocean. They had to provide for these slaves for the entire lives. So when you see the Civil Rights Acts, you see all these social service programs, you can see where these people felt that they were entitled to getting government benefits because they always were, since they were dragged off the boat. They were always provided social services. So, but like, say, a normal free white guy, nobody was going to provide him housing for his entire life. Nobody was going to provide him medical or dental. Nobody was going to provide him with food or water. He had to figure out how to fight on his own. He had to battle through the jungle in the United States by himself. He wasn't entitled to anything. So when I say to people, man, you better worry about being entitled. When you get entitles, man, you're being classed as a certain, subordinate. Being entitled isn't a good thing. It's actually lowering yourself down to somebody else, under somebody else's control or whatever somebody else is willing to give you. So, like I said, what was funny about all this, the law dictionaries, he said, well, he was getting his information from Black's Law. I said, the law of how man is supposed to treat his subordinates. Really, his slaves. I really don't want to think I want to reference from Black's Law. He says, well, you do use Black's Law at times. I said, absolutely. I show you what the legal society is using. I said, I show you folks, what they, the status of the position that they maintain within their society. But no, I said, I use many different kinds of dictionaries. And he says, well, what kind of dictionaries? So just because he asked me what kind of dictionaries, I said, I use Bouvier's is a good one, or Johnson's. I said he had Sam Johnson, and I think his son name was Jay Johnson. I said that's where they wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution from. They used the Johnson's dictionary, so if you want to know what those words were. I said, you could use Harrison's dictionary, or Tomlin's. He wrote a hell of a good dictionary. I said, if you want to use Joseph Chitty, which is actually Chitty, I said you could use that as well. But it was funny. He was just asking me all of these dictionaries that I used to make my dictionary. There's somebody called Vitale, Vattel. He had a dictionary as well. And he basically wrote the Law of Nations. So I'm trying to remember who's that guy who had a show kind of like mine, and he was doing this Law of Nations. He found Vitale's book. And he started trying to set this.
Was that Vittel? Yeah. Vittel?
Vattel.
Vattel.
But I'm trying to remember. He was trying to set up his own. Who's that crazy? Those crazy guys. Divine Providence, Divine Madness, guys. I think they found that book, and they were starting to say, wow, how do you set up a nation? How do you set up, that it's recognized, globally, internationally? But Ballantyne's is a good law dictionary. I'm just trying to think of all the dictionaries. Coke's or Littleton's, those are good sources. So like I said, somebody asked me, and I think I said Sheridan's already. But like I said, somebody asked me, what law dictionary, or what did you use, to write your own dictionary? I said, use one dictionary. I just didn't find Webster's 1828, because I said when I actually would look at these dictionaries, believe it or not, they actually had book reviews even way back when. So I remember when I was looking at Webster's 1828, because that's basically the Bible for the United States Supreme Court. Almost all the Supreme Court justices say the number one book they use is Webster's 1828. And what I think is funny is, if you read the London book reviews, the London Times book review in 1829, they said this guy, Webster, took such creative and liberal, liberties of the English language. He basically perverted the English language, convoluted it, twisted it. He made a mockery of what we've been using as the standard version of, English since Coke and Littleton's time. This guy took such free reign and liberty to manipulate the words for whatever reason we can't fathom. So they thought his dictionary was a total joke. So, but like I said, if you look at the United States Supreme Court, they says what's the books that they rely upon the most for the definitions of the words. And almost every Supreme Court judge said Webster's 1828. So there was another good one, was Burgess. He wrote a pretty good commentary on trustee and trust law. And that's Burge, apostrophe S, Burgess. Yeah, he wrote a pretty good dictionary. But like I say to people, when I wrote this thing, I'd grab all the dictionaries that I could find, and I'd just compare all the words, and, most of them went back to Sanskrit or Greek or Latin, and you try to find where the root of the word came from. And then you try to see how they've manipulated it throughout the centuries, through the millennium. You try to find out who was using this to their advantage, because the best weapon, or the best, is words, is the best way to communicate. If we didn't have words, if we didn't have the ability to communicate with each other, we'd be no different than a dog or a monkey, or we wouldn't have this capacity to move information as fast as we and expand, be as creative as we are, and achieve what we do, because we have the liberal arts. We got the ability to communicate with words, and words can control people, and a piece of paper controls people. I mean, just a piece of paper terrorizes people. They get something in the mail and they start sweating, their heart starts palpitating because they see something that says United States government on it, or IRS on it, or Department of Motor Vehicle on it.